the Historical Society parking lot, handicap accessible as well?
John? That spot? No, it's just a gravel spot. We will pick that up in what's coming.
So this is the Gibson Island Historical Society, owned by the corporation, 1700 Skippers Row. There's a yellow line been painted. Maybe that means they're going to pave this rock, because this is the type of rock they have at the yacht squadron for the disabled spaces to park on, the same disabled spaces where they put a trebuchet for 3 days and throw litter into the bay. So this sign is not a sign for disabled spaces, but just for education purposes. This is a sign that says that it's reserved for the Historical Society. Visitors, the bottom of this sign is 5 feet, almost 5 feet tall. That's the size, the height that a sign for the disabled would have to be so they can see it over an accessible van. Of course, there's no way to get from here, if this was paved, no ADA compliant route to get up the stairs. These were the stairs that were built on December 9th and December 10th illegally with no permit. They then had to go get a permit in January. So they have to figure out a different way. Can't be beside it, because again, there's no way to get there. Unless they were to make this the space and pave a path, and they can do that, except they're within 1,000 feet in the critical area, so they have to get a permit. So this is the ramp that if you did pave a spot, because you did pave an area, because you got a permit, because you're in 1,000 feet of the water, this ramp has to be modified. This ramp is 25 inches tall, and that means it needs to be 25 feet long to the flat spot. Of course, this flat spot has to be 5 by 5 area for a switchback. So 5 feet would take it out to here. This is 5 feet right here. So it's only barely 4 foot 1 inch. And it's wide enough that it's easily 5 feet, but it has to be extended. So this is 8 feet 5 inches. So that's plenty of room there. It has to be extended. It has to have a 5 by 5 spot to do a switchback, or every 30 feet. But it's 25 inches tall, which means it needs to be 25 inches, 25 feet long. Actually, it's not. It's 25 feet. It's right here. So it's short by 1, 2. It's short by, it's only 22 feet, 6 inches. So this ramp has to be made longer It's only 22 feet, 6 inches, needs to be 25 feet because it's got 25 inches of rise. So that was 25 inches. This is 29.5 inches, so 4.5 feet to rise up to this. 25, 29.5, so 4.5 feet is what's needed. So there's a flat spot here. So you have 4.5 feet when you start at that flat spot. The answer is yes, you got 8 feet. You got 8 feet 9 inches. So this part of the ramp right here is fine. The problem with the top of this ramp is this transom is too high. You can't have that abrupt transom. And that little piece of wood, again, it's too steep. That transom is inch. That transom would have to be a foot long. It's not the same thing is the problem with everything down at the yacht squadron where they put those too steep wood ramps and those little wood pieces, which doesn't make it work. In addition, there is no ADA compliant restroom in the Salty Marks house owned by the corporation. In order to have something be ADA compliant, whether the parking space is put back here, which would be a lot more paving, but the parking space is put back here, or it's put over there where the gray truck is, the entire route must be ADA compliant, from the parking, along the route, up the ramp, through the door, to an ADA compliant restroom. Must be properly signed. The signs at the yacht squadron are too low. There are no signs in the parking lot of the by the corporation and club offices. That's why those spaces are 8 feet wide. Those spaces technically are painted and they're okay, but there's no ADA compliant route from those spaces to the clubhouse, no ADA compliant space from those spaces to the corporation headquarters of the club or the post office, because the post office ramp is too steep. And certainly it's too steep running down to the clubhouse. There are no automatic door openers. These aren't expensive things, but they're things that make the parking space, the route to a restroom, and also you need an area of sanctuary to be ADA compliant.